my name is Armando Perez. The purpose of this video is to educate you about performing proper CPR on an adult. Learning how to perform proper CPR on an adult is extremely important. This will prepare you for an emergency in which a person you know or a person you do stumble on does need CPR to be performed on them. If you do happen to stumble across somebody who is knocked out or unconscious on the floor, follow these steps closely, for they are extremely important. First, make sure the area is safe. Look around for any fire, loose electrical wires, objects that might fall on you. If the person is on the road, take them off the road into a safe area. Once the person is in a safe area, check for their vital signs. To check for their vital signs, first you check for breathing. Bring your ear close to the person's nose and mouth and try to listen for it. If you don't hear any breathing, try to feel for a pulse. The most reliable way to find a pulse is to check the carotid pulse. The way you do this is you look for the person's jaw. Here in the corner, right under it, you place both your fingers on it. You should feel a very strong pulse. If you feel nothing, then CPR is needed. To perform proper chest compressions, you must do these three things. First, put one hand over the other and intertwine your fingers. Second, you have to find the center of the person's chest. You can't go too high because the compressions will not be as effective. If you go too low, you could potentially break the person's xiphoid process, which is a small delicate bone at the bottom of the chest. Doing this could lead to death or extreme injury. So find the center of the person's chest, hand over hand, and make sure that your elbows never bend. By not bending your elbows, you will ensure proper compressions. You are to do sets of 30 chest compressions in around 17 or 18 seconds. Make sure that after every single chest compression, you allow the person's chest to recoil. After every set of 30 chest compressions, you will have to do 2 breaths of mouth to mouth. To properly perform mouth to mouth, first, you have to tilt the person's head backwards. This will open the person's airway. Then, slightly open their mouth and pinch their nose. After that, you cover their entire mouth with your mouth and breathe in 2 times. Both times, make sure that the person's chest fully expands and goes back down. Good?
Yes.
Okay. So I will be demonstrating how to do CPR on this dummy. So the first thing you have to do when you find somebody, first you have to check for them to be breathing, right? So you come in, you put your ear close, right? This one isn't breathing. The next thing you do is you have to check for their carotid pulse, which is somewhere under the neck right here, under the jawbone. You put your fingers and you wait a couple seconds. You should feel a very strong pulse. If there's nothing there, in that case, what you have to do is you have to look around, make sure the scene is safe, you know? If the scene is safe, then you ask a bystander, you call the police, or call the emergency service, okay? Alright. So, to properly perform CPR, you have to put hand over hand like this, alright? Make sure that both your elbows are straight and not bending, so you can put all your force into the chest. Then what you do is you do in the middle of the chest. You can't do it too low because you will injure the person. You do it high into the chest, sets of 30 and 2, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. After that, what you have to do is you tilt the person's head backwards in order to open their airway. You open their mouth and you give them 2 breaths, like so. 1, 2. And after that, 30 more. After every set of 30 chest compressions, make sure that you give 2 breaths of mouth to mouth. This will create 1 cycle. After 5 cycles of 30 chest compressions and 2 breaths of mouth to mouth, you once again check for vital signs of the person. Do this by checking once again the person's pulse, 2 fingers under the jawbone, and putting your ear close to the person's mouth to listen for breathing. If there is no pulse and no breathing, continue for another 5 cycles and check again. However, if a person does have a pulse and is not breathing, do not perform chest compressions. Simply 2 breaths every 5 seconds will suffice. Continue these processes until medical services arrive. A quick review. First, you must always remember to make sure that the area is safe. If the area is not safe, try to take the person to a safe area where you can perform CPR. Second, contact medical services. They will know exactly what the person needs. Thirdly, check for vitals. Fourth, chest compressions. Remember, hand over hand with the fingers intertwined, placed in the center of the person's chest. Too high or too low could be dangerous. Remember that the person's chest must completely recoil after every single compression. For mouth to mouth, remember to tilt the person's head backwards and open their mouth to open the airway. Pinch their nose so that air does not escape, and breathe in, covering their entire mouth.
Lastly, I remind you that it is very important for you to get yourself certified for CPR and AED services. This will highly reduce the likelihood of a person suing you for performing CPR just in case they get injured. Thank you for watching this video on how to perform CPR.